Yeah. Now, I just go through my presentation in 2 or 3 forms. One is, what I learned from my father actually, because when he came in with virtually nothing. Typically, when you start from generation to generation, it is the first generation which really slogs its guts out. The second generation basically takes on from the first generation and develops what the first generation has done. The third generation slows down a bit, probably lives off whatever is there, takes it a little more easy because they don't think that they should be doing all that hard work which the first or second generation had done, because everything is available and there are people to do them. But when you come to the fourth generation, in many cases, at least 70 to 80% of the surveys that have been conducted across the world, they are the ones who actually let go of all the hard work that has been done, and many of the businesses actually crash. You can take many surveys, go through all the leading business magazines and check out that this is what normally happens. I don't think it's happened so much in India, because in India what happens is many of the business families actually induct their children straight into business and they are groomed accordingly. And we too are hoping that our next generation would actually do much better. In fact, my next generation, I'm hoping they would do at least 100 times of what we have achieved. We've seen the tough times, because I had a great time with my father, because when I joined the business, the very first day what he did was he left his table and came and sat opposite to me at his own table. Now, what could I do wrong then? So, pardon me? I've already disappeared. So, what we learned from him, was the way he used to handle people. Even when he came in from Pakistan, I think he brought in a whole lot of families. I think there are at least 15 families in Ooty today, including the very famous stores like Mohan Stores, Chandirams and all that, if you've been to Ooty. These people they all came together because my father suggested to them that Ooty is a potential market for them. And they still respect him. Whenever we go there, we are given due honors in Ooty. The same thing he did wherever he went. He would always see to it that he would help whoever came his way. There was not an occasion where he would not offer a meal to anybody, whether it was a company person, whether it was a staff or anybody. If anybody at the meal time was with him, would definitely be taken home and given a meal. It came to such a level once that we had to repeat rasam 3 times for some Swedish match manufacturers. They just, they went haywire over that. More importantly, about the way he dealt with his customers. What he used to say is, customers are like death. You never know when death comes to you. So you should take care of your customer and look after it in such a manner that it doesn't bring you death. So particularly when you take the textile business, you find one day the shop will be virtually empty, one day it will be full. There's no steadiness to that type of business. Whereas other businesses like cigarettes and all that, for sure that every day you get so much business and so on and so forth. But even there also what happened was, to ensure availability of a product, even if a customer came at 12 o'clock in the night, he would ask us to go and open the shop and supply the product to them. He also used to ask us to dream, like what Kalamji did say. Of course, we did it with our eyes closed. But not only just for the individual person, but for the family also. The bonding of a family was a key thing. Whatever he did equally for the entire family. And that was one thing that we learned, that if we bought anything for ourselves, we sought it that the rest of the family also got the same thing. In many cases, that becomes the bone of contention and starts the breakage of a family. there has to be continuous contribution to the business, both in terms of realizing what are the new things that are happening in the business, and you have to do it with watchful eyes. He used to tell us that business was like a well, particularly when I said that investment was a major problem in the cigarette business. He said, you will have to keep on putting your money into the business. It's going to be like a well. You will not see the money. The money is there, but you cannot draw it out also. So that was one of the reasons why we went into a business like textiles, which was producing better returns and at the same time was allowing us to spend money. For a long time, I think from the time I was born till probably something like 1980 or so, we could never, say that, okay, we have so much money, we can enjoy this money and do something. The first car that my father bought was actually a wedding gift for my elder brother. Till such time, he would not buy a car. He used to travel on a cycle. There are many occasions where he used to carry cash to the bank and people had attempted to actually rob the cash from him. But he would not let go of his cycle or the cash. The other thing he said, if you're doing business, yes sir.
You said continue to put money
Yeah.
in the business. Is it a wise thing in the present context?
Not in the present context. I mean, I'm talking about what we learned from him at that stage. And one should know every aspect of the business that you're doing in. Because what happens is, if you don't know what your employee is doing, then how do you tell him what to do? This is just like the case where I unloaded a truckload because I've seen my father actually, if a salesman was not present, he would get up into the vehicle, leave the shop wherever it was and go for sales under the van. If we had a tailor in the shop, he would say first learn cutting, because if a customer comes and the tailor is not there, you have to cut the cloth and then start making the garment. What we are selling is not the cloth. What we are giving, it's something like a biryani. You go to buy mutton, you buy the meat, the choicest meat. It may be clean, everything is done, but unless that cook cooks it to your satisfaction and makes it tasty, it doesn't work. So it is the tailor who is doing that job. So you must know how to cook, or you must know what the tailor is doing. So we learnt all aspects of the business that way. So much so, as a small kid, when this boy was about, how old were you when you fell into the gutter? At 12 o'clock in the night, we used to go around putting up posters for cigarettes. When we launch a new brand, we used to put posters on the sides of the shops. So the best time to do that was in the night. So he used to insist on coming with me. And he would say, I also want to stick the poster. But between the shop and the road, there is a small gutter which he missed out. But he still continued. Even today, you find him, he picks up stocks, he sends it, he can do any form of advertising, visual merchandising, which is a key thing today in retail business. The other personal business philosophies that we learned from my elders was there's no substitute for hard work. You have to lead by example and you have to act. The finance mantras, like we said, in reinvestment of capital to grow, expand. The textile business was different from the cigarette businesses, that in 3 years' time you can actually recover your investment and then you can start moving into the next one. So that is how we were able to start moving into more and more shops. But there what happens is, the key difference in a textile shop and any other shop somebody can start, he can get the cloth, he can get the shop, he can get the space and all this, the type of individualized service that you give to the customer. That is the key difference. Yeah.
Is it hard work or smart work?
Pardon?
Is it hard work or smart work?
Both. Because what happens is, we are virtually in a business where we are now working 24/7, 365 days. In cigarette smoking does not stop even a single day. if there is a hartal on one day, we either work half day previously and half day the next day. The sale does not drop. And as far as the textile businesses are concerned, we are on our feet all the time. You cannot be sitting in a shop when a customer enters. And today the type of training that we give to the staff is probably on world standards. I'll just come to that also. Some of the other things that my father used to do differently from what we modern guys started doing was, he used to do his balance sheet on a reverse method. When I say a reverse method was that he would take all his liabilities and assets and the plug-in figure would be the profit. Whereas traditionally what we are taught in college is you make your profit and loss account first, whatever be the expenses and whatever be the income and all the stuff, you arrive at a profit figure and that is carried forward to the balance sheet. He was more concerned about what he has to pay out or what he has to get, and that was the plug-in figure. The profit was the plug-in figure there. So automatically what would happen is, if there was a problem there, then the automatic remedy would be to get into cost cutting or controls, or to see that income is bettered or better sale is done. So that is one reverse method which I thought I should share with you. Stock taking is a major thing which many people avoid. They think it's a dirty job. But we had a system where for fast moving consumer goods, we used to take stock every day. In those good old days when the labor laws were not that very strong, Madam Rita used to go home even at 9 o'clock only after the last cigarette was found. And as far as textile is concerned, because you got to measure everything and so on and so forth, we brought it down to once in 3 months. There are many shops who do it after a year. At the end of a year, probably what happens is the fashion itself has changed. And it's too late to rectify the situation. If there has been pilferage and if stock has disappeared, it's too late to go find out what has happened and how it has happened. And believe it or not, today the systems of fraud and pilferage are highly, highly ingenious. It starts from the customer, it goes on to the staff, and it goes to the regular thieves also. There is a college for pickpockets in Cochin, and the method is very simple, you know. What they do is, they blow up a big balloon. They blow up a big balloon, and then they take a wet handkerchief and put it on top of that balloon, and you're supposed to cut the handkerchief with a blade without the balloon bursting. So the balloon represents the skin, the cloth represents the pocket, and the blade is the method he uses.
Could it not show that so that
You ask any police station, they'll tell you this. And you check out on any thief his clothes. Now that I know a little bit of tailoring also, if I have folded this portion of my shirt this way, it is a storage point for a lot of wires and other things. Where do I keep my blades? You have something called a collar bone. That is replaced by a half a blade. So instead of the collar bone, you put a blade there. So it comes in handy whenever you want to use it. Now I can start a course on that, and then tomorrow you will call me the professor of it. But this is probably, and in world over, I think it's now coming to almost about 4 to 5% is the pilferage. Operational costs of a retail shop today are also increasing dramatically. Who's talking about that? Now, ITC's main verticals is they have that hotel division, they have the packaging division, they have the export division, they have the agribusiness division. So, using all of them, most of the products that you see now, for example, these chips are actually flat cut chips. They're not the regular chips which are boiled and this thing. And then the flavor is given to them is just by sprinkling salt or chilies. In the other case, what happens is you fry it with the spices. So that's when it causes some problems like what caused the problem for Maggi. Things like this biscuit called Choco Fills, or even this product which we have now, which is called Yum Fills. These are all from the ITC kitchens actually. So this type of a thing for somebody to emulate is very, very difficult, because we are coming from the 5-star kitchens. Business, if you want to do, and the first and foremost thing is, you need fire in the belly. Without that, as we call in Hindi, we call it passion or junoon. If you do not have fire in the belly, I don't think you can ever succeed. You need to always excel. And if you don't, the moment you say, okay, I have achieved this much, it's like trying to climb a mountain, and having reached there, you say, okay, I have climbed the mountain, now I have to just roll back. Nobody thinks about flying upwards. I still remember a very beautiful story about a small child who was called into the pilot's cabin of an aeroplane, and the pilot was showing him, the ground from the cockpit, and telling him, look, we are flying so high, just see the ground below, everybody is walking like ants, and so on and so forth. You know what the child told him? Can you fly higher than this? So that is the motivation that one should have in themselves. What can I do better and better? So these boys will tell you what they have done to the business, as how they've improved their business. I think I have taken a lot of time. Importantly, valuing relationships not only with your customers but also with your both. You take all sides. You take with your principals, then your vendors, with the officials that you're dealing with. I met Mr. Joy. He was an officer in the labor department, but we always. I never had to bribe him or anything. The sheer relationship and the way we used to deal with each other brought us close to each other. Today he is working for us, and the only job that has been given to him is whatever you do, my employees should be happy, whatever be the cost. So it sometimes comes to a situation where there was a time, where we could meet every single employee, ask him whatever he wants, do whatever he needs and all that. Today, as your business grows, it goes into 400 to 1,000 to 5,000 people. You're not going to meet everyone individually. So you have to depend on people, your own people and the people like him, and then find methods as to how you can keep them happy also. The important things is, our relationships have been recognized. I have been fortunate to attend 2 working board meetings, one of ITC and one of Raymond's also, which I think is a great honor, because they did take suggestions given to them on the face of what we gave it to them also. I am also a member of the Raymond's Chairman's Club. What he does is, once a year, he takes the top 100 dealers, be it retail, wholesale or MBO. Singapore is the top dealers.
Singapore.
Yeah, this is the Chairman's Club, where he treats you like a king. So the first place that he took us was to Falaknama Palace in Hyderabad. The second place was to the Udham Palace in Jodhpur. Then we went to the Udaipur Palace, and there, we are given a palace room, and we are treated like kings. The dinner that is served, the menu is personalized, just like what you found for Mr. Modi in the newspaper. It says your name is there. If you're a vegetarian, these are the dishes that you will have. And there's a sort of an army serving you. For every 2 delegates, there is 1 person serving you. So that's how the company looks after us. And when a company looks after you like that, you give your life for it. One failing that I've noticed is, although we have an extended family, as the workforce is our extended family, many a time the mistakes that some of the employers do is, we try to behave like God. See, what happens is, and particularly I've noticed that in Kerala actually, if something happens to somebody has had a problem, an accident or something in the family, or the wife has fallen down, then immediately what happens is each one asks, what happened to your wife, where did she fall down, where has she been admitted, who's a doctor, tell me the name of the doctor, tell me the telephone number, I'll call up the doctor and speak to him. The moment you've completed that one full sequence, that problem automatically shifts to you. The employee goes scot-free. Now he says, sir, I told you everything, you said you will take care of everything. And then it becomes a sort of a precedence. The social network, and in the current day today, it is very important that time and energy is spent to build a social network. One of the key things that has done, both without my trying or with my this thing also, like what Savio did mention, was the Chamber of Commerce, the Kerala Management Association, TAI, the various government bodies, and even Better Cochin Response Group. And there are so many other smaller organizations where I have inadvertently or purposely fallen into, even including the road committee in our thing. We have swept the floor of, the roadside on Gandhi Jayanti of our street. So that brings in a lot of closeness to the people that you are living with. Savio also mentioned one thing which I have also mentioned here is, how do you bounce back stronger after an adversary? In life, there will be challenges, there will be problems. You might fail at your first attempt or second attempt. But go back to your sport and see how you do your long jump or your high jump. You're given sometimes 3 chances, you're given 5 chances. Each time you go back, take a longer run up, and then you try to jump better than what you did earlier. And this is something which I found. Many people just resign saying, okay, we cannot do this anymore, let's not attempt it again. But going back, bouncing back and doing better than what you did. We have had cases where, 4 days before I was supposed to open a shop on the bypass, the shop caught fire. We didn't give up. We could have just written off that shop and said, no, nothing doing, we will not do it. Within 6 months, we made that shop back and better than what it would have ever been. And like that, there have been so many things where we have really achieved better than where we were actually.
Can you give another example?
You're talking about this
Bouncing
thing.
back.
Bouncing back. Oh yes, we have had a couple of income tax raids. And what happens during an income tax raid is, if you're caught and if money is taken away from you and things like that, how quickly you bounce back, because even your accounts and everything are taken away from you. You are virtually left with nothing on your hands to deal with. How do you get back? And you get back in such a way that not only do you get your money back, probably they give you a refund also. This has happened to us. Another classic example that we had was, we took advantage of a situation where the financial year changed, There used to be different financial years for different communities. It used to be Diwali for some other date for somebody else. When they made it into April to March, there was a period when we had 23 months. So the advantage was, you could claim depreciation for 23 months even if you bought a vehicle on the last month. So that was the time when I bought a lot of Maruti vehicles from Johnny's place. Because what happened was, I got 23 months depreciation in 1 month. Yeah, so tax planning comes, and this was an idea which I generated, which my auditor took over and gave it to all his clients. So, you've got to take these opportunities as they keep coming. And finally, I think we are not going to take all this upstairs. We have to give it back. Whatever we earned from people around us. God has given it to us, we have got to give it back. So I think CSR is one great thing that has been happening. Each one has a different way of doing it. You can do it in the form of skill development, you can do it in form of scholarships, you can do it in forms of bringing people, you can give them living arrangements, give them vehicles, and so on and so forth. There are many methods to do that, but ultimately, and the only thing is ultimately is, when somebody talks to you, I think what you should look at is that the person that you are talking to is a man of integrity. So if that belief is there in you, people believe in you for anything that you want. We've taken a lot of risks sometimes. We went to Bangkok on a holiday. You won't believe it, we didn't have a single pie, but we got about 15 lakhs worth of goods. Nobody knew us in Bangkok. But just by sheer getting along with them and all that, they gave us 15 lakhs worth of goods. We brought it as our own luggage and paid them a little later. Then we discovered that the bank has got a branch there. Those days we were banking with Bharat Overseas Bank, who had an office in Bangkok. The next time we went there, they gave us enough suppliers out there saying that you can pick up whatever you want from Bangkok. Only the good things, of course. Pardon me? I'll tell you personally. The last and final thing which I would like to say is, most of the people, like when you say bouncing back from adversity, you find most of the countries also, whether it is Japan, whether you take Korea, you take Vietnam, or even Sri Lanka for that matter. All these Asian tigers have actually come back, or even Burma for that matter now. It's, when you see real adversity that you realize what is the pain that you've undergone. Germany too, yes. And how you really can come back, and you come back with a vengeance actually. I'm using the word vengeance not as a bad thing, but with a strong force actually. Then the other thing is the money that comes from outside. Now the money that comes to Kerala, we are probably the people who are getting the largest amount of money into this country. No wonder the Prime Minister also wishes us in Malayalam at Abu Dhabi. But if you compare China and Gujarat,
go and park their vehicle for the rest of the evening and say that they were not able to deliver the products because there was traffic congestion, etc. Right? So this kind of technologies kind of help you get real-time access on whether they are fooling around or not. Yeah. I'll just now quickly touch upon another area where I'm quite actively involved, which is Priceless, and predominantly the marketing and execution of the marketing strategy for Priceless. This is just to give you a brief preview of what the concept is all about. As Mohammed earlier said, we hold more than 50 plus brands, and we offer a flat 25% discount all year round on these products. Many of these products are almost absolutely fresh, if not at maximum a season old, and it all comes down to very smart sourcing, for which I think she should be credited. She takes a lot of effort to travel all across the country and bargain with various vendors whom she has built relationships over a long period of time, and she is able to get access to stock at good prices, and we purchase in bulk sometimes to get access to good deals so that we can give the best possible pricing to the consumer. And the whole concept also has a Raymond second shop integrated within it, where the concept of the second shop is that here also you have some fresh apparel, but in the second shop the company also marks clearly as to what is the damage on a particular garment. It may be a very small peel-off effect. Now, not everybody is looking for perfection, but the good thing about this is the company has taken the initiative to actually clearly mark out things and make it very systematic so that people don't get taken for a ride. So this has been done in a pre-authorized manner, and this is also receiving a pretty good response. It has its own set of customers. Obviously, it's different from the fresh Raymond customer, but it has its own set of regular customers, and the tailoring services here are also doing reasonably well. Now, one of the things that we've done to try and create excitement around the brand Priceless is to make it relevant to day-to-day consumption occasions for the consumer. So we've done that through multiple initiatives like occasion-based advertising. We've talked about how you can revamp your office wardrobe, whether it be business formals, business casuals, or smart casuals. We've done lookbooks and mini leaflets which we have distributed to corporate and to employees of various companies so that they know what are the latest trends in the market and what they can do to look better when they are going to office. Then we've done season-based advertising, which talks about summer, about monsoon, and we've tried to celebrate a lot of key events with the advertising as well. Now, this was a campaign that we did for the Football World Cup, where we said, play priceless, play for style, play for value, pay for value. When Sachin scored his 100th 100, we came up with an advertisement campaign at that time on the newspapers, saluting him. Being the priceless icon. So we've used a lot of wordplay around the word priceless to make it relevant to the consumer. Can you guess what this is possibly about? It's to do with elections. So this was every vote is priceless. This was done when there was a lot of election news coming in the newspapers, so that people look at it. You need to break the clutter at the end of the day. There are hundreds of ads in the newspapers. The whole idea is that you make people look at it as content so that they engage with it better. When Manmohan Singh was facing the the confidence motion in the parliament, we talked about this ad called "Looking for the best way to win confidence. Simple, be priceless." For Independence Day, when we talk about inflation, we talked about we only blow up brands, not prices. Then we celebrated all the key festivals that come into the consumer's day-to-day life, whether it be Navratri, whether it be Onam, Iftar, across religions, Christmas. And recently, we are now, obviously, consumer convenience is a big key, so we are going into the online space. We've already got our website up and running, and we are looking at this channel, hopefully, to contribute a significant share of sales in the near future with the trend of consumers looking for that convenience. We've done campaigns on Facebook. We're going to be coming up with campaigns again on YouTube, etc. And we keep doing a lot of marketing inputs, whether it is hoardings and online or digital. This was just to give you a kind of a flavor of what Priceless is as a brand. We've tried to nurture it very carefully into a space that hopefully should have consumers engaging it with a lot better than other concepts in the market. And that way, in the future, it opens up a lot of opportunities for us in terms of franchising it out to other prospective partners and the likes. Just one more point that I'll mention is that the ITC business, besides us being associated with ITC, one of our dreams has also been that because we put in a lot of money and effort into building that relationship with our customers. Now that provides us a great opportunity to introduce other complementary products into this channel. So we've already been evaluating a few, this is the way forward actually. We've been evaluating quite a few new products which are complementary to some of the ITC products. It could even be electronics or electrical gadgets that can be relevant to retailers, which they can put in their own stores, for example, right? Or it could be something that they could sell from their stores. So we've already started looking at that, and that is also hopefully going to be another key area of growth going into the future. Thank you.
Being the modest guy that he is, he's not told some personal things about himself. The guy drives very fast. So also the type of work he does, I think he sleeps very little. He spends a lot of time doing research in the night. One great thing that happened after his Jaipur stint, he was given a gift to be handed over to his mother. It was totally packed. And when she opened it, what was it that he got?
Yeah, that was given by his boss to him, saying...
No, his employee.
Who's that?
His junior.
His junior, okay. Given by his junior to him, saying that this you give it to your mother. I'm really proud of that lady who gave birth to you. That was really one of very, very touching moments for me as well.
That was a diamond ring. And the other thing is, both these boys, we made it a point that they shouldn't lack in any form of physical exercise as so that they keep going all the time. So both of them are good cricketers. They play tennis. They play good table tennis. They are good at music. They play different instruments. When they were kids, they had their own band. In fact, they used to be called the Buds. And I think they've done at least 5 or 6 shows as kids at the age of 5 and 7 or so.
Yeah.
And of course, as all good children do, they fight with each other.
I think with paucity of time, I will just summarize in 5 minutes. I'm just going to give you a small flavor of our day-to-day activities and operating in the Kerala context especially. So here it's a very, since most of our businesses are very labor intensive, especially the ITC distribution business, leading the way is extremely important. So that was also already mentioned by Dad that you need to be able to go the way, show the way, know the way, and be it even small things, day-to-day operational things, you need to be able to lead the way so that whenever your staff should always have a good opinion about you. That's something which is very important. So getting your hands dirty, I don't think we ever, think twice before doing that. And even minute operational things, I think we've always been trained to lead the way. Secondly, as far as the staff is concerned and the HR aspect is concerned, it's quite a challenging environment we are operating in. So from about a staff strength of 15 to 16 people in the ITC distribution business about 10 to 12 years back, now we have almost 250 to 60 staff. So we have also had to change the way we evolve, and the staff has unionized themselves, and dealing with unions is also quite a challenging issue for us. But the traditional values have always helped. So if you look at it even today, we make it a point that salaries are disbursed to staff before the 31st of every month. And in most cases, in 99% of the cases, they are given personally by one of us at the various different points. So that helps us maintain a good bond with even the fact that the staff strength has increased quite significantly. A lot of our staff have been with us for more than 25-30 years. Many of them have really grown along with us. Some of them who work with us are today in very good positions with our principals also. And I think that's a testimony to the fact that they have been well trained and they've always been encouraged to grow. So we have invested quite a lot of time and energy in making sure that the staff are trained. In the retail field, they have attended the Singapore Airlines Customer Delight Seminar. In the distribution field, we have had a lot of leading speakers speak to them, and ITC and Raymond's have also been very cooperative in terms of designing specific modules to give both theoretical and on-the-job training to all our employees. Through all this, I think ethics and CSR has been very important. We make sure that we are fully compliant with the laws. That's where people like Mr. Joy really help us. So we are always ready in terms of any kind of inspection, and we get a good night's sleep at the end of the day. Because be it, especially on labor laws, making sure that things like PF, ESI, bonus is disbursed to all employees as per the norms, that helps the business stay steady and make sure that we focus on work rather than on other trivial issues. Coming to customer service, I would say that we really make it a point to make sure that the internal customers, that is the company officials, our staff, are equally given importance as much to our external customers, which in our case are both the consumers for the retail businesses and our retailers in the case of the distribution and wholesale businesses. So that's where the experience of having worked with ITC in his case and GSK in my case, it helps us understand things from the company's point of view. And we also, to keep ourselves going and self-motivated, I think the fact that we have done our MBAs and have understood the corporate world before coming into the family business has always helped us stay ahead of the expectations of the principals. So they have dashboards to evaluate our performance, and we take keen interest in making sure that we make our systems and processes and our performance in line with the expectations of the principals. The environment in Kerala is specifically challenging as far as the distribution business is concerned. We have a lot of issues with regard to, since we are a predominantly cash handling business for cigarettes, we need to really ramp up arrangements with banks, take care of issues like fake notes. In cigarette, regulation is indeed becoming stronger day by day. There is a law called CODPA which prohibits sale of cigarettes near institutions, education institutions, and we have to be like a guiding light and father figure for more than 12,000 retailers who are selling cigarettes today, because anytime they face any kind of harassment from the officials, they look to us to take care of their needs. So this is also quite a challenging aspect. And even the basic of basic processes like unloading a vehicle with the head load board, you have so many organizations and associations to deal with. So it is indeed a big challenge, as well as there's never a dull moment in the distribution business. Lastly, I would like to say that we've been very fortunate that succession planning has been taken care of. The business has been divided quite equally, favorably, and that's credit to all the elders, because they made it a point that we don't have territories we stumble over each other. Yet they have given enough freedom, keeping in mind our interests. And we are fortunate enough to have the freedom and flexibility to take the business forward in whichever direction we please to. So that is a very it's creditable job done by all the elders. And to keep ourselves motivated in entrepreneurship, it's quite a challenging thing. You need to be quite self-motivated. It's not like an organization where every year you get a new assignment or a new promotion. So you need to create that excitement on your own. And that's where I think being self-motivated is really important. And lastly, I would say that organizations like the Rotary have really helped us, because you get to be part of these social organizations which still keep you in touch with a hierarchy or a corporate, the way a corporate works. And we really enjoy working and being part of these organizations, because it gives you an idea as to where you stand. Otherwise, you tend to get lost when you're in your own organization with nobody to evaluate you, nobody to guide you. So you need to be tremendously self-motivated. That's just my point of view. And lastly, I think with online coming in such a big way, we have to also change the way we do our things and be flexible to change our business models and co-opt with online players in future. Or as keeping in mind that as long as you add value, you can never be eliminated. So that's the simple thing which we look to do and increase value for all the stakeholders who are involved. And I think there's a lot of opportunity which comes with the threat of online as well. So these are just some of the few thoughts I thought I would share with you. Thank you.
Do you have any plan to enter into online?
No, one more question. Sushil also, he was just talking about Rotary, just recently won the Best Secretary Award in his district. Probably the youngest of his kind. And we are hoping, because my brother was once upon a time the governor of this district. We are all looking forward to the day that he also takes that position. And I hand it over to his governor now.
His boss.
Good evening, everybody. A lot has been said by the people who really matter. I mean, as it's obvious, I am a very late entrant in this whole, family business game. And so, whatever little bit of experience I have, I will share with you. So basically, I come from a very purely financial background, like I said. I come from a family of chartered accountants. My father is one. And as far as my education also goes, I specialized in finance, after which I worked for Credit Suisse, which is an investment bank in Bombay for a while, before I came here. Now, unlike, her entry into the business, which was more gradual. For me, fortunately or unfortunately, it was from day one I was put into it. So I give credit to all of them for that, because considering that whatever education background I had, there was never a moment I wasted after my marriage when I came over here. So there are no regrets that why did I leave my corporate life and come here, etc. So on the continue on that thought, I think for someone who enters a business as a third generation or a fourth generation, fast track learning is extremely important, because you have a lot to catch up on. There are people who have been in this business for the past 35 years, 40 years, have done everything possible that they could have, yet there are expectations from you to deliver from the first day. So, to catch up on everything that has happened in the history, yet bring in your own individuality and take it forward, I think it's the biggest challenge that we as a third generation face, and therefore it is very important that our learning is extremely fast, and yet we kind of bring in our own personality into the things that we do. So what I did here was basically